Alright, good morning everybody. Today we're talking about the future of Path to Nowhere all the way up until like early December. Like late November, early December is what we're going to cover up to. Now, this is going to be heavy spoilers, okay? So for those who don't know, the way that Path to Nowhere works is that it starts off in Xi'an, China. And Xi'an servers have a 3-month head start before that information, before those characters, before anything else comes out to global servers. It needs that delay to do translations and things of that nature. So we, as the global audience, we get a 3-month or peek into the future based off what Xi'an servers are doing. Okay, and I'm going to start at what's currently in global servers, and then we're going to go all the way to what's currently in Xi'an servers right now, and that's going to be covering the next 3 months of Path to Nowhere's future. Okay, there's a lot of things happening. Most of what we're covering today will be the new Sinners, but there will be a little bit of discussion of other game modes and things that are coming up along the way. But most of this is just upcoming banners, upcoming Sinners. Okay, so starting off right now, currently available as I'm recording this, is the first set of Reforges. Huge update, massive W on Path Nowhere's part. They should be getting more and more praise for Reforged because they did a damn good job on them. This is incredible stuff. 3 of these characters, Summer, Bai, and Eddie, were like completely unusable before the Reforges came out. But now that the Reforges have come out, all 4 of these characters are like great. They're like top of the meta. They're like, you can't go wrong with any of the 4. That being said, if you're looking to spin some pools right now, like you just have a bank of like 400 pools or something, or you're like a whale or a dolphin or something, if you're a new player, and you want somebody strong right now, I would recommend Bai. I wouldn't recommend the other 3, mainly because you get Nox for free, so I don't have to recommend Nox because everyone has Nox. But I wouldn't recommend Summer, and I wouldn't recommend Eddie. Summer, she struggles in some regards, like AoE, core break, she doesn't have it, and Eddie's just awkward. You can kind of tell from how few Eddie videos get posted during the Reforge era. You can kind of see people's opinions of Eddie. She's not a very popular character. But people love Bai, people love Summer, people love Nox. You can't, again, you can't go wrong with any of these 4, but I would only recommend Bai for the purpose of this. Okay, alongside the Reforges, we also have the current banners of Jasmine and Parfait. And again, if you have a massive stockpile of pulls and you're looking to pull something right now, I would situationally recommend both of these. But again, situationally. And the reason I say that is because they both require a dedicated team. Jasmine is part of the Bleed team, which is the strongest team in Path to Nowhere. Don't get me wrong, it is the strongest team, and in fact, I am making 240k guides for Dark Zone. If you guys want to hit 240k, get maximum rewards, get the title, the emblem, everything else from Dark Zone, check out my Bleed videos. I am doing 240k tutorials with the Bleed team, and I plan to continue doing 240k tutorials with the Bleed team all the way up until at least the anniversary banner 3 months from now. Okay, for the next 3 months, you can expect 240k videos from this team. And if you have that team, great. It's going to be real easy for you to hit 240k every season because you're going to have a video for it. It's going to be a strong team. It's going to be very reliable. It's going to be very consistent. And it's going to do all the things you want it to do. But you can only do that if you already have the entire Bleed team. If you already have Jasmine, if you already have Treya. And then alongside of that, that same idea happens with Parfait. Parfait's really good at the tippy top peaky peak of the meta. If you're like a Giga Whale, if you're a max score chaser, if you've got lightning reflexes, if you're like the fastest fingers of the West, then this is actually probably stronger than Bleed Team. Like, it has a higher high than Bleed Team. It doesn't have a higher average. It's not better for most players. But if you're like a Giga nerd like me, then the Umber Core team is going to have better returns than Bleed will. But it requires you to have the entire Umber Core archetype. It requires you to have Bai, it requires you to have Zero, it requires you to have Graves and Parfait and probably LL. And there's so many pieces that go to this that I can't just recommend it to everybody blanketly. Because if you get Parfait, and you don't have any of her partners, she's literally useless. She doesn't do anything. So, situationally recommend. She's super good, but I can't give her a full recommendation because, you know, different people have different things. Okay, but moving on to our first new character, okay? We have Shin. And we've already talked about Shin a little bit. In fact, if you guys saw my tier list video, plug in the tier list video, watch that. People loved it. Great reception. Love you guys. Thank you for watching the tier list video. Highly appreciate it. YouTube loves me for doing that video. I hope you guys love me for doing that video. I like the video too. I recommend it. Check it out. But looking at that, I place Shin very high on the tier list. Okay, she's just right behind LL. And it is ridiculously absurd just how good Shin is. Shin does 4 things technically, okay? The first thing, she helps immortal sinners turn into their corrupted state. So all of the immortal sinners, they have like this M value that goes from 0 to whatever. And when they hit that max M value, they become corrupted. They go into a corrupted state and they become more powerful. Shin allows all of these sinners to enter that state more freely. We're talking Pilgia, Mantis, Vanilla, Hestia, and there's a 5th that I can't recall right now. But at the end of the day, it's really only that useful for Pilgia and Mantis. Okay, like Pilgia needs Shin. Mantis needs Shin. Honestly, she does. Vanilla's okay with Shin. Hestia's okay with Shin. Then you have Drea. Drea's like okay with Shin. Like they're not. It's not end of the world. Like that. Those last 3, they don't really care about their M value generation being better. But well, Vanilla does, but she doesn't benefit. Reasons we'll talk about when I get to the Shin guide. Okay, Shin guide coming soon. But for now, in terms of just immortals, Shin really only works with Pilgia and Mantis. Okay, so people will want to get Shin because like, oh, she makes the immortals better. That's not why you get Shin. Okay, the reason you get Shin is because she is this best center in the entire game, like just under hello. Shin is a better Hamel. Shin does all the healing that Hamel does, but Shin does it in the AoE from the start of the map instead of waiting for 90 seconds. So Shin is just a better Hamel. Shin is also just a better Cabernet. Shin gives the attack buff in an AoE just like Cabernet does, but Shin is just better at it. And then on top of that, Shin does everything Lady Pearl does. Shin buffs normal attack damage, just like Lady Pearl does, but Shin does it better. That's right, Shin is a better Hamel, a better Cabernet, and a better Lady Pearl, all in one character. This one character is better than those 3 people put on the same field at the same time. If you have a 4-man team made up of Hamel, Cabernet, Lady Pearl, and like Reforged Summer, it is just as good as if you had Reforged Summer and Shin. That 2-man team is just as good as the 4-man team. So because of all of that, Shin is Giga recommended. I should change highly recommended to Giga recommended, like mandatory must, not mandatory must pull. I'm not going to go that far. So I'm not telling you guys how to play the game, right? If y'all guys, if you are waifu over meta, if you pull characters because they're pretty, they had a nice story, because you felt like pulling, you just had the itch to pull 10 characters, to do a 10 pull, you let it rip. Cool. If that's how you want to play the game, that's how you want to play the game. I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not going to tell you how to play the game, all right? Play how you want to, all right? But if you are looking for like combat effectiveness and like keeping up with the meta, Shin is like going to be the cornerstone of every single team. She is used on every single team in every single game mode. She's used in Mania training. She's used in BFL. She's used in story. Like, Shin will be used on every team in every game mode. And that's not an exaggeration. She is quite literally that good. So, highly recommend, but I do want to address some misconceptions about Shin, okay? There's a lot of misunderstanding with her. The first one is that regard to immortal centers that I talked about earlier. You don't pull Shin because she's an immortal and she like makes immortals better. She does make immortals better, right? She does let them enter their corrupted state sooner. But who cares? That's not why you're using Shin. You're using Shin for all the buffs and healing that she provides. Okay, that's the first misconception. The second misconception is the whole shackle debate. Oh my god, I have seen Shin shackles being debated to death. Shin is better than Cabernet, Hamel, and Lady Pearl at S0. At S0, Shin is better than all three of those sinners combined into one character. That's not an exaggeration, that's just how busted Shin is. Shin is absurd. Okay, so at S0, just a singular copy, great character. At S1, Shin's range will affect the entire map. Okay, you know how Hamel like heals the entire map? Well, Shin can also do that. She can heal and buff the entire map no matter where she's standing, but it does require her S1. Okay, so I would go as far as to recommend her S1 to every player, just because like. Not because it makes Shin more powerful, it doesn't. S0 and S1 Shin are equally powerful, but S1 Shin is easier to play. You just like, it doesn't even matter where you put her anymore. She's just on the field and Shin does her job, okay? So S1 Shin I highly recommend, very good character. The real misconception is when it comes to S3. A lot of people are saying that S3 is mandatory. It is not. Now if you have S3 Shin, it is the best character in the game. Okay, like if we go back to the tier list, let me hide this real quick. S3 Shin is like in a new tier all by herself, like 2 tiers above everybody else. Okay, like S3 is actually game-breakingly strong. That's not even an exaggeration. Like actually game-breakingly strong. Like if you see any like high score clear or something, and they're using an S3 Shin, it's basically cheating, right? If you have an S3 Shin, you're basically cheating. That's how I'm going to say it. S3 Shin, basically cheating. But that being said, you don't need to go S3. I mean, you've already got the best center in the game. Why does she need to be better? All right, like if you want to go S3, if you want to like be that guy, if you want to be the strongest player this side of Path to Nowhere, then go ahead and get S3 Shin. Use all of your pulls. And like have this be the only upcoming character that you grab. Okay, like it'll work, but you don't need it. All right, if you want to just sit at S0, sit at S0. If you want to sit at S1, sit at S1. I'm gonna sit at S1 because if I grab an S3 Shin, like every single like high score clear that I show you guys from Shin forward is gonna be like a fraud. Because it's like, well, my character doesn't do that. It's like, do you have an S3 Shin? I'm not gonna be that guy, right? I'm not gonna sit here and like, oh, you should have raised your Shin to S3. I don't know what to tell you. You suck. Like, no, that's not me, right? No, I'm gonna go with S1 just because I like her being easier to play. So that's where I'm gonna stop. S3 Shin, basically cheating. You won't see me using it. Okay, but then after Shin, okay, coming up much later down the timeline is Millie. Millie is expected to hit late September, early October, kind of. There's like a little 2-week event that she's a part of. And good character, very, very good. And I give her a situationally recommended. And the reason why I say situationally recommended is because she only works in certain teams. She is a magic buffer DPS hybrid. She's like a better Raven. Okay, but she is sort of specialized. She is very much meant to work as part of the Arcane Crit team. She is like completely designed around being a support piece on the Arcane Crit team. Okay, she is an Arcane. She will do more damage the more time her opponents take damage. Which if you're using Ying Yang has a bunch of little tiny hits. That benefits Millie. If you're using Voltaire Blue, Blue has a bunch of little mini missiles. That benefits Millie. If you're using Woohoo Hanzi has a bunch of mini explosions from her talisman. That benefits Millie. So the entire thing here is that like Millie is the perfect partner to Ying and your DPS if either Blue or Woohoo Hanzi. And if you have the Arcane Crit team and you really like Millie, and you are like Millie's biggest fan, And to be fair, like her event looks pretty awesome. Like it looks like it's gonna be a banger event. Then like hats off to you. Millie is great. She's gonna be like top of the tier list for sure. But like if you don't have arcane crit, or if you're like my arcane crit's good enough, like I'd rather save. I'd rather get more Shin shackles, or I'd rather save for these other upcoming centers. Then you can do that too. Millie's very much like you can skip her, and I personally, if I was like saving my pulls, I would skip her myself. But if you like Millie, or if you like Yin King or Voltaire Blue or Arcane Crit, or you just want like more magic damage options, then Millie's very good, and you're not going to regret getting Millie. Like she's a very solid center. There's just better things that are more universal that are happening around the same time as Millie. Okay. Speaking of like what's happening around the same time as Millie, as soon as Millie's over, okay, as soon as Millie ends, we get the second round of Reforges. Okay. Reforge Part 2, directly after Millie. We get this in early September, lasting until like early November. This banner is going to be active for a while. And we are seeing some more like forgotten characters be revived back into the meta. Summer is on this banner. She already received her Reforge. It's live, but they only did 3 characters instead of 4, and the banner holds 4 people, so they just kind of threw Summer on as like a bonus pick. But Oak Casket is getting a facelift. She is becoming, they're diving more into her sniper kind of playstyle. So if you want like the sniper, bang bang, I guess it's more like bang, bang, bang. Then Oak is coming back. It is very good. Like all the Reforges are great, right? But Oak is kind of more meme territory than she is like serious territory. Still very, very good, right? It's like she can absolutely clear content. But you're kind of picking Oak because it's funny to one-shot things, right? Not because she's helping progress your account or any of these other things. It's funny to one-shot things. It's funny to like walk into a BFL stage and be like, boom, half it sells. That's what Oak is doing. She's having fun. Stargazer is turning into like a pure summon support. You're having like Eve Part 2. Stargazer is Eve Part 2. She's actually better Eve. Like Reforged Stargazer is a better Eve, which is crazy to say because Eve is like insane. Like where did I put Eve? I put Eve, I guess like towards the top half of Great Power, but only because like she only works on summon teams. And then we have, then we have Stargazer over here only working on summer teams and doing a better job. Stargazer is going to be great. She also has like a sort of like mage playstyle where she can actually be like a DPS caster. It's not as good. Like it's passable, but it's not as good. Like blue is still better than like DPS Stargazer. But summon support Stargazer is very good and will be like a staple on summon teams going forward. And then to finish this out, we have 11. And 11's insane. Okay, I was talking about how I'm going to keep doing 240k videos for the Bleed team. I'm going to be doing 240k videos with 11. Because 11 is very easy to... Reforged 11 is very easy to play, and she's very, very strong. Okay, so I recommend... I almost said highly recommend, but I only minor recommend. I recommend that you guys look into 11's Reforge. Because it is going to be busted strong. She is going to be like in contention with Arcane Crit. Like Reforged 11 and Arcane Crit like go head to head. It's very good, very easy to play, and it does monstrous stuff. They're leaning more into 11's hands like slapping things around more than they are like the hands clapping and doing a burst of damage. They're leaning much more into the like summoning a billion hands and having a billion hands doing auto attacks. So it's not only is 11 becoming stronger, but 11's also becoming easier to play. You don't have to like play around cast times and animations and claps and all of this like super advanced stuff that 11 does. They're just making 11 like easy to play, summon a billion hands, and those billion hands kill things by death by 1,000 cuts. Very good character. If you like the 240k series, the 240k tutorials that I've been doing, get Reforged 11 because I will be making Reforged 11 240k guides. Okay, I'm just telling you now. If If you want, if you like that stuff, if you want to hit 720k every Dark Zone season, get Reforged 11. Thank me later. Okay. And then up after the Reforged, we have a fan favorite character coming in. This is a bit of surprise. If this is heavy spoilers, okay, we're already in spoiler territory, but I have to double down. This is heavy spoilers. Okay, we have Synex. Synex. For those of you who were around for the Hypatia story, Hypatia was the protagonist, while Synex was sort of the antagonist, playful antagonist of that event. And Synex comes around in a later event to be a full-fledged sinner. Synex is expected to come late October all the way to early November, that 2-week little period in there. And she's good, but I wouldn't recommend her. So Synex is good, don't get me wrong. She does true damage, okay? We are leaning into the true damage category. She does true damage, and she does all of her true damage with auto attacks, and she makes other sources of true damage better. So we don't have that many true damage options. We're really right now just looking at Kokolek. And Kokolek, honestly, Kokolek is waiting for a Reforge. So if we ever get Reforged Kokolek, then you'll be very glad that you have Synex. Actually really glad, because Synex attacks really fast, and like Synex and Kokolek work very well together. But Synex on her own isn't that strong, and Synex is suffering from a terminal case of being weaker than the upcoming anniversary character. We haven't gotten to it yet, but one of the later banners is Synex, but better. So there's no reason to get Synex unless you're like trying to future-proof your accounts, because Synex does make other sources of true damage better. And if you're playing around, if you want to like make the true damage team that will eventually come out, it's not out in CN yet. It's not going to be out for us anytime soon. But like Synex will probably be like a dedicated support on a dedicated true damage team, like probably. But it's not really worth, like, if you want to future-proof, you want to just like put a copy Synex down and be like, oh, true damage ready in the future, sure. And like, sure, go ahead, that's what I'm gonna do. But ultimately, like, Synex is just, she's not strong enough. She's like a support DPS hybrid, and her supports, it's better off using the more meta supports like Shin. It's better to just use Shin, because Shin is absurd. And one thing I need to note here, let me find Synex real quick. One thing I need to note here is that Synex is the first character that Shin works really well on. So Synex's true damage is all dealt through normal attacks, and Shin is like doubling down on normal attacks, right? Shin buffs attack and normal attack damage. Synex uses her attack and normal attack damage. So like, if you want to use Synex, get Shin first, because Shin makes everybody stronger, but especially Synex. Or Synex, or however you pronounce her name. Ultimately, this is a good character, because mostly because she has like some future-proofing built into her kit. But I wouldn't recommend her because there's better options, right? Like, we're already kind of thin for pulls in this neighborhood. Like, it's a banger set of banners back to back to back, and ultimately there are better options. But I mean, she was great in the last event, and I'm expecting her to be great in this event. So if you guys are like, I pull characters for their appearance and their story, hell yeah, brother. Like, I hope you get that true damage setup in the end, because boy, this character is cool. But ultimately not recommended. And again, she is weaker than the anniversary sinner, and she comes out right before the anniversary. This is the anniversary sinner. This is Augustus, aka Catherine. That's a spoiler for those who have not played the main story yet, the new main story chapter, the Orlate Regale or something like that, the Jasmine's event. Augustus is Catherine. Catherine is Augustus, for those who have done the story. Code names, cover stories, blah, 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 all that jazz. And what ends up happening is that Augustus is a true damage, normal attacking reticle. And she is absolutely broken. She is... If S3 Shin like creates her own tier, then Augustus is right up there with her. Augustus is disgusting. She can like one-shot Mania bosses, Mania training bosses. Like actually one-shot them. And it's it's kind of silly. It's kind of scary just how good this character is. This character I recommend to everybody. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you hate this character. Get this character. This is going to be a good time in Path to Nowhere. True damage, normal attacking. I hope you guys like Shin. True damage, normal attacking. Center who hits like the entire board in an AoE and does everything, including core breaking. Like, she doesn't have any flaws. She does everything. She is like Release Shalom, where Release Shalom like actually did everything for like a year. It took like a year for Shalom to like start falling off, and even then, like falling off Shalom is still like number 2 in great power. She's only losing to the dedicated teams, and we're going to have a very similar thing with Augustus. Augustus is going to be the strongest center in the game, and she will be for at least a year. And even when she's not the strongest option in the entire game, she's still going to be like a top 5 option in every single game. And on top of all that, she does true damage. So you can use her anywhere. Any game mode, anytime, any BFL stage, any boss, any minion, any wave. She does it all, okay? She does everything, and she's going to be the best at doing everything. I cannot recommend this character enough. Anniversary coming out early November, early December. Get this character. She's absurd. And especially if you pair her with Shin, because Shin... I don't know what to tell you, man. Shin just keeps getting better and better, and this is one of the reasons why. Okay, and then alongside this is the limited, by the way. Augustus is the limited center. Alongside Augustus, the anniversary banners usually have 2 centers. The second center is actually Hella. Okay? Hella. This is 6-star Hella. This is not a limited character. She is entering the regular pool. But 6-star Hella, Path to Nowhere's first altar, is coming out early November, early December, during the 3rd anniversary. And she's good. She's like really good. But I give her a situationally recommended. And the reason why, let me give some backstory on what Hella is. Hella is a Umbra Fury hybrid who does most of her damage when cores are broken. So you hear that Hella is an Umbra, and you hear that she does most of her damage when cores are broken. And what you know it, Hella goes on the Umbra core team. If you have the Umbra core team, Hella is a fantastic DPS unit. She functions very much similar to Graves, where Hella gets all of her power when other people break cores. Whereas Graves is like a support and makes those other Umbras stronger, Hella is the DPS. And if you have like Labyrinth running around breaking cores, Hella executes everybody. She does this huge burst of damage and just like destroys things when their cores are broken. She's not like waiting on her ultimate. She's not like most characters, like, you know, they use their ultimate to do damage. Like look at Hypatia, look at I don't know, Irene, look at Shalom, like all these characters, Zero, all these characters are using their ultimate to do all their damage. Hella's not doing that. Hella is looking to do all of her damage by watching other people break cores. And she does a lot of damage. But I wouldn't recommend Hella alter the Necresta-Hella unless you already have Umbra core and you're looking to accentuate your Umbra core with some more damage. Okay, it's not gonna make Bai stronger, but it will like greatly supplement your damage. This new Hella is going to be very good. Okay, and then alongside all of that, we have the anniversary reruns. Obviously, Zero and Shalom. Rerun, the limited characters rerun every year, and this will be the year for Zero and Shalom reruns. If you missed out on Zero, if you missed out on Shalom, now's your chance to get them. Now, I can't really say, oh, I have the date wrong there. Ignore the duration. That duration's wrong. It's the same duration as, it's early November, early December. It's the same duration as Augustus and Catherine. Let me fix that right now. This is early November to early December. Okay, my bad on the duration there. Let me just double check that duration's right. Yeah. Early November, early December. My bad on the duration. These are fan favorite characters. I'm not giving them a recommended or anything because you guys can see on the tier list where they're at. Zero is up here in Umber Core Archetype. She's S+, and Shalom's down here in Great Power. You guys can like make your own assumptions based on that. These two are great, but I mean, look at their competition. Like, Zero and Shalom have to compete with the best character Path to Nowhere has ever seen, and the third best character Path to Nowhere has ever seen. All right, so as cool and as great as Zero and Shalom are, they have a lot of competition. And because of that, I'm not giving them a direct recommendation because these are really just like fan favorite reruns. And if you like these two limited centers and you missed out on them, grab them. But if you're looking for like a powerhouse, just grab Augustus. Like these two air at the same time Augustus does, and Augustus does everything that these two characters do, but does it better. Okay, just get Augustus. Augustus is just too good. Okay, and that covers all of the releases all the way up to December. Now let's talk about a few things that happen along the way, and I'm going to go ahead and sit on Augustus' screen while I talk about this. This is just me kind of rambling in the meantime. Along the way, we do have Tide of Ashes. Tide of Ashes Season 9, Season 10, one of those. Season 9, I forget what season we're on. There is a Tide of Ashes coming up, and it happens like during the Reforged Round 2 era, like somewhere around there. We're getting a new Tide of Ashes event. We're also getting Dark Zone updates. Dark Zone is going to have this new feature where instead of choosing 2 buffs, you choose 3 buffs. All right, now Dark Zone's getting harder, apparently. I don't know how to break it to you guys. Dark Zone is getting harder. That's a good thumbnail right there. I'm gonna turn that into a video. But even though Dark Zone's getting harder, you're getting a 3rd buff to like compensate and like, you know, keep you on the same power level as Dark Zone is getting harder. And the idea behind adding the 3rd buff that you can choose is they're trying to throw out more character-specific buffs. So like you can have Bai and Zero buff at the same time and use like a Giga Umbra Core team in Dark Zone. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not yet. I haven't played it. I just know that you're going to get 3 buffs, and I know that because you have 3 buffs, the enemies are stronger. Okay, so expect that title video. Dark Zone just got harder. It's coming. But that's some pretty cool stuff. And then with the anniversary banner, for those who are sticking around, they're giving out so many goodies during this anniversary. They're handing out a free monthly pass. They're handing out like paid cash items to every player, free to play or not. You're going to get a free daily login bonus that's like 60 hypercubes and 100 stamina, something like that, every single day. Every single day that you log in for a month. That lasts, I mean, I don't know if you guys see the duration of this event. This event lasts for a month, early November to early December, and you're going to get daily rewards for a month. So like this entire event is just like completely loaded, giga loaded on rewards. It's great. They're also releasing, alongside Augustus, they are going to be releasing new items in the shop that we haven't seen before. We have the monthly passes right now. They're also going to be releasing seasonal passes that can stack with the monthly passes, so you can like double the daily rewards if you want to. A lot of other paid options. And what Path to Nowhere is trying to do, and I support them in this, is that Path to Nowhere is trying to make more money. All right, that's just what it comes down to. Path to Nowhere wants more money, and they always want more money, right? But what Path to Nowhere, I'm gonna change the song. Let's go back to Rest Fire real quick. What Path to Nowhere was doing for more money is that they were like saying, hey, every single one of these new centers needs their S1. And it was like, cool, I have to use twice as many pools to get the character I want, because like, who the hell is going to use Donald at S0? Who the hell is going to use, I'm trying to think of somebody else who's completely unusable at S0. Who's going to use Hestia at S0? Like, nobody's using these characters at S0. You have to get their S1 for them to be useful. It was a really annoying way of Path Nowhere like trying to make money. They've backed off on that. Okay, characters are good at S0 again, right? You don't need S1. You can just get that first you can get that first pull, and you can be done with the banner. You don't have to get the first copy on top of the first pull, and that's really nice. But because they backed off on that, Path Nowhere isn't just making as much money, right? They're trying to increase their revenue, and one of the ways that they're trying to increase their revenue is making 4-star skins. That's huge. 4-star skins are a huge way for Path Nowhere to make money. Hats off to them for coming up with that idea. I hope everyone who's bought a 4-star skin, Nox or Hamble, is like absolutely loving their purchase, because those skins are gorgeous. I haven't bought them. That's not my kind of jam. But for some people, that is their jam, and that's a huge revenue source for Path Nowhere, and I support them for trying to make more money, because this game, I mean, they're making more and more stuff. They're making cooler and cooler things. They're adding better quality of life. They're adding new game modes. They're adding new features. Like, all of this stuff that they're adding requires money and resources. And they need money and resources, right? If we're not talking, this isn't like Hoyoverse or anything like that, right? Like, Path Nowhere, Anzo is a small company. So, and they need to be able to keep up. So, releasing these new paid options is helping them keep up. And I very much support them in that endeavor. I kind of lost myself in the rant there. But 4-star skins are a good way to do it. The new seasonal pass is a good way to do it. What else were they working on? Oh, yeah, another way of them like trying to get more money was Reforges. Adding the Reforged materials. A lot of players were like, they saw the Reforged banner. Let me go back to the Reforged banner. A lot of players saw the Reforged banner, like, oh, I have to reforge all 4 of these characters immediately, and you only got enough resource to do like 2 characters. So the whales who wanted to like raise all 4 characters and like make guides on all 4 characters and stuff like that, they had to spend money on Reforged materials to get all 4 characters reforged, and that's just how the game goes, right? So that's like another way they're trying to get money. There's also, and they're doing this one off and on, trying to get the ECB 3s, like all the characters want their ECB 3. That also like encourages you to spend, right? Because like you only get 10 of the soul marks every month. I mean, 10 from the exchange shop, like 5 from somewhere else, and like 2 from somewhere else. You get like 15-ish a month on average, I would say. And if you were using 30 soul marks on every single new character, you didn't have enough soul marks. So dolphins and whales were having to spend money to get those soul marks, those ECB mats, and that's just a way that Path Nowhere is trying to make more money, right? They're trying to encourage the players to spend more money, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because them getting more money and encouraging us to spend more money is also letting them make new stuff, make new features, make reforges, keep up with event quality, do translations, have cool animations. Like, all the cool stuff that you see and appreciate in Path Nowhere is because they're making money, right? You want them to be making money. It's just a matter of how they're making their money. Like, them requiring the S1 on every single center, okay, that sucks. Like, I didn't like that. And I was pretty vocal about that too. Like, there's this like 6-8 month period where every single character wanted their S1, and it was miserable. But we're past that now. They're trying to implement more consumer friendly ways to make more money, and I appreciate that. Okay, and last thing that I want to end off the video with is some on the way banners. Okay, these aren't new banners, but from today in mid-August all the way up to December, there are 2 banners, 2 recurring like rerun banners of note. We've got Jelena. Jelena's coming out right before Millie. This is another reason why Millie is like situationally recommended, because Millie's got a lot of competition. For those who don't know, Jelena is at the tippy top of the tier list. In fact, she's on like multiple teams in the like meta. She is very good. And you would ask like, oh, if she is one of the best characters in the game, why isn't she highly recommended? Well, she's situationally recommended because you need a character who can crit. right? You need to have Bai Yi. You need to have arcane crits. You need to have like Corrin or Summer or some other crit-based character. And even though we are getting a Jelena rerun in September next month, right before Millie comes out, I would only situationally recommend it because like we have other sinners like Augustus who don't care about Jelena, right? Like Augustus doesn't care. Hella doesn't care. 11 doesn't care. Like there's all these sinners that are coming out that Jelena doesn't care about. So if you missed out on Jelena and you're sad that you can't do all this crit stuff, okay, I get it. You have your chance to get her now. And if you want Jelena, she's very good. She will do her job. You won't be disappointed. You can get her. But I wouldn't recommend her to everybody because there's going to be so many players who are going to be like transitioning over to like New Hella, to Augustus, to Reforged 11, to all these non-crit based options. She's not mandatory. She's just good with very specific sinners. If you like the crit damage sinners, get Jelena. If you're not using the crit damage sinners, it's not the end of the world. We're going to have more options. Okay, like we have Bleed right now. Bleed doesn't need Jelena. Just like it's a get Jelena if you want to use the crit teams, but by no means is Jelena mandatory. On the other hand, we're also getting an LL rerun. This is happening. You guys can barely see that. This is happening late September to late October. This is right after Millie, so this is like, yeah, I think this banner might be active at the same time that Jelena is. I think that's a true statement. And LL, I highly recommend LL to everybody. She is, let's go check the tier list real quick. LL is the best character in the game, used on every single meta-defining team. LL is also used on the Bleed team. So like LL is the best character on the game, is seen on every single meta team. She is literally Mrs. Path to Nowhere. LL is insane. She is better than an S0 Shin. She's way weaker than an S3 Shin, but an S0 Shin she's better than. And she's getting a rerun. Now it's a weird rerun because it's one of those where it's like you have less chances of getting LL because you might accidentally get Rahu instead. Take that as you want to. But if you missed out on LL and you're sad that you don't have L, you have another chance. LL continues to work with all the new sinners. She works with Millie. She works with Augustus. She works with Hella. LL just, it's her. It's LL. You're not going to go wrong with LL. So yeah, that's the peek into the future of the next 3 months. I'm going to go through it again. Right now we have Jasmine coming out all the way until late August. We also have Parfait alongside Jasmine all the way until late August. After those two, we have the first round of Reforges. Again, this is all currently live. This is going on until late August. In about 2 weeks from now, we're going to get Shin. And Shin is the most ridiculously redonkulous character that we've ever seen, aside from LL. And highly recommend. She's going to go crazy. After Shin, we have Millie. Millie is situationally recommended if you like the arcane crit team, or if you like Millie and have the arcane crit team, then you can grab Millie. I wouldn't grab her, but I'm generally just not a fan of the arcane crit team, so I like the other options better. Speaking of other options, we have 11. 11 is the alternative to arcane crit. Reforged 11 is going to be the alternative to the arcane crit team. I recommend 11 if you guys either don't have or don't like the arcane crit team. I'll be making a lot of guides with Reforged 11 because I love 11. So if you want like easy to follow guides, grab 11 and I'll make guides for you. Okay, that's my promise to you guys. If you get Reforged 11, you will have tailor-made guides. Thumbs up. After 11, we do have Synex. Not recommended, but she does hold her own. and she does have some synergies with the limited character, with Kokolek, and like she'll be able to keep up. She's just not as good as literally the very next character, the limited character, Augustus. Absolutely insane. This character is going to be... it's got to be silly. It's going to be Shalom 2.0. For those of you who weren't around when Shalom released, Shalom was worth like 5 centers. Like honestly, you throw 5 arcane centers at a BFL boss, and they would struggle. You would throw 1 Shalom at the BFL boss, and Shalom would win. Shalom was literally her. And that's what Augustus is going to be. Augustus is going to be literally her. She's going to destroy everything in an AoE on all game modes, hordes, boss. She doesn't really care. She's just going to kill it all. Okay, like congratulations, you got Augustus. You've won the game. Alongside Augustus, same time, we are getting Hella Altar. And Hella Altar situationally recommended on Umbra core teams. Very specifically Umbra core teams. She's an Umbra who does damage when cores are broken. Okay, it's Umbra core. Done with Umbra core. Watch the video, watch the guide. And then we also have the reruns. I'm not going to give these things a recommendation. They're just fan favorites. If you want the fan favorites, get the fan favorites. Otherwise, just get Augustus. Like with Augustus in the game, there's no reason to grab these two, but they are fan favorites. So I mean, I'd get them, right? But if you had to choose, it's always Augustus. It's always Augustus. And then along the way, right before and right after Millie, Jelena, if you guys have some crit teams in mind, and LL, if you guys want literally the strongest center in Path of Nowhere right now. She has some hard competition coming up with Shin and with Augustus, right? Shin and Augustus give LL a run for her money. We might have to revisit the tier list very soon. But yeah, that's what's coming up, guys. Hope you all have enjoyed this video. It's different from what I normally do. Please check out the tier list video if you guys have made it this far. If you haven't already, the tier list video, put a lot of work into that. A lot of research, a lot of testing, a lot of hours. Just recording the video took several hours, more than the 3 hours I uploaded, right? And yeah, very happy with that video, and it's being so well received. Big appreciate it. For those watching the 240K guides, appreciate you guys as well. Those aren't getting as many views as the other videos do, but it's being very well received by the people who do watch those videos. Like the like to view ratio is really high. So I see those of you who like the 240K tutorials, I see you, and I will continue doing those even though they are not as popular. Okay, I see that you guys appreciate those, and I appreciate you for appreciating those. So 240 guides will keep coming out. No worries there. It's going to be with Bleed and with Reforged 11. And then when we get to the anniversary, it's going to be with Augustus. Okay? So like if you want to follow along the 240K tutorial series, Bleed, Reforged 11, Augustus. Those are the people you're going after. Okay? I am making guides very specifically for Bleed, Reforged 11, and Augustus. Expect all of those. And then what else is going on? Do I have any other announcements? Let me check some notes real quick. I got any other announcements I want to make? No other announcements. Looking like I can just cut you guys short here. Alright. I hope you guys enjoy the song. You guys stand and fight. It's the name of the song. It's from Chapter 2, apparently. I don't remember the song in Chapter 2, but I know the music Path Nowhere is great, and this song is great too. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.